One of the key features of SAS is to programmatically access data on WRDS. So instead of having to deal with large data sets on our PC, we can access that remotely. So we need to make a connection with our from our PC with WRDS, and the following code does that. So I log in with my credentials. So what we see in the log is a lot of libname statements, so that the various data sets are can be accessed with the shortcuts of the library. So CompUstat would be comp, audit analytics would be audit, etc. So at this point we can run code remotely, and for that the code that's within our submit and end our submit block will run remotely. So if I run the following code, it's a put statement, so that will print something in the log, so it will print hi there in the log. And what is special about this is that this actually runs remotely, right? So it's a WRDS SAS server that puts this in the log. So let's do something more useful. So let's get some data from CompUstat. So the comp library has been defined. So our SAS session on WRDS knows where to look for when we say comp.funday. So it will look for the fundamental annual dataset in the comp library. And we have some filters here. So we're saying, look, just give for the observations where the ticker symbol is Google. And there's some boilerplate filters here. CompUstat annual has some duplicates that that need to be filtered out with this statement. And we're interested in shares outstanding and the stock price at the end of the fiscal year. And let's say we don't want any observations where any of those are missing. So cmiss function counts the number of variables that have missing values in the off. So cmiss off followed by the list of variables. So if any of these variables are missing, then the cmiss function will return 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. And we require that to be 0. In other words, none of these variables we allow to be missing. And then we compute the market to book ratio, which is the shares outstanding multiplied by stock price divided by book equity, and return on assets. And so we get that for Google. So let's submit this. It's important that you submit code within our submit and end our submit block. So there's 35 observations, and the thing is we've made a data set in the work library, but obviously it's not in our local work library because it's remote. And there's a little neat mechanism that allows us to take a peek in the work folder that's on WRDS of the current SAS session. So it's this remote viewing. So I execute this, and in my library, so I'm in libraries, and after this statement we have this remote library pop up, and if I double click it, I see the My Funday dataset. So I can view this. So even though it's all remote, right? So this dataset exists on the WRDS server and not on my PC. I'm allowed to view it. So here I have 15 data points for Google. I realized that in the keep I didn't keep these 2 variables. So I mean that's so I found a little bug. So this remote viewing is helpful to see you know, if things are expected. So let me plug them in here, market to book and return on assets, and run this again. So there we go, market to book and return on assets for Google over those years. If you want to have these data sets locally, we can use a proc download within an rsubmit block. So proc download data equals the data set to download. So this is the name of the data set. So it's the work library myFunday remotely on WRDS, and I want it to also be locally in my work in named my local Funday. So this will trigger a download. It goes quick because it's small. There it is. So now it's local. So obviously it doesn't need to go to work. It can go to other to other libraries as well. But here it's in work, and the reverse mechanism also works. So if you want to run a query on WRDS where you filter against a data set that you already have, you can upload it, so proc upload. So the data equals would have the library and dataset name of your dataset you want to upload, and out equals will be the library and dataset name it will be placed in on WRDS.